Showtime.
Showtime. Showtime.
Ooh, showtime.
Showtime. Showtime.
Showtime.
Showtime. Showtime. Showtime.
Ed Berliner, the fastest show in sports.
Greetings, true believers. Welcome back to the fastest show in sports. I am the host and ringmaster, Ed Berliner. He is the former New York Times, Washington Post, ESPN pundit who knows all, sees all, and has never spit on an opponent in his life. Neither one of us have. He's Mike Wise. I'm Ed. There you go. And I got to tell you, this is it, Mike. This is the big gun here today. Oh, my God. Jalen Carter spit on Dak Prescott. Stunner! Oh my God, you mean stuff like this happens in the NFL? But here's the thing. People have gone back and looked at the tape. Apparently, when Dak was in the huddle with his team and he was coming up to the line, he came up and he spit. Like so many athletes do. He just spit. And apparently then Carter thought it was meant for him, so he went up and spit on him. So the key here is, Mike, Dak Prescott spit first, damn it. We've got to get to the root of this evil.
Well, and I think you just hit it on the head. If you also spit, you must acquit.
Very good. I appreciate that. But again, you have to think of
that was a nod to Johnny Cochran.
It's the Cowboys, though, Mike. That's the beauty of all this. Once again, after all the conversation we've had about the Cowboys, here come the Cowboys. They go into Philadelphia. They actually have a chance to win. And a matter of fact, they get all jacked up at the beginning of the game here because the star defensive player that they prepared for all week is now out of the game after spitting on their quarterback. They've got everything working in their favor, and they still tanked it.
And they still tanked it. They actually, the sad thing is, I think Mina Kimes, the ESPN rising star, I think she's become hugely popular. I like Mina. I don't watch her enough. She just seems like a nice person that likes football, and she gets killed because she's a woman and she's Asian, and we have a racist society that thinks that only men can cover football. But at any rate, she said, her first idea of her first thought watching the game, Ed, was the Cowboys aren't that bad. It even makes less sense that they traded Micah Parsons. They could have been. They had a decent team this year, and they're up against the Eagles. And and if C.D. Lamb can just hold on to a football, the guy that they paid all the money to,
exactly.
And then they traded the guy away that they didn't want to pay the money to. If he had held on to, well, the second catch, the last possession where he laid out, that was a tough catch, but he could still make it. The first one, oh my God, that was in his wheel. I catch that ball, Ed. I mean, I can't get that far down the field that fast, but I have great hands, Ed.
I don't think you could get down the field inside of 10 minutes, but that's another story altogether. So
no, that's why I'm wearing a tank top for my Panama Old Men's League. They asked me what my nickname should be in the league, and I just put the Sloth. So the back of my shirt says, actually, the Sloth.
I think even the Sloth could have caught that as well. But there's the whole thing. Micah Parsons, they trade the best defensive player on their team, and they still hold the Super Bowl champions to 24 points. But their best offensive player, or one of their two best offensive players, C.D. Lamb, he absolutely gets hands of stone on the night. I'm telling you, Mike, it's just something about the Dallas Cowboys. They'll come in there,
karma.
They'll get everybody all excited, and fans will be all ready for it, and they take the pipe. I mean, it's just normal for them.
I never really had a problem with the Cowboys. I said on this program before, for the people that watch it weekly, and I know they do. I think there are two people
twice a week.
Twice a week. I think there's a couple of one of the names of the viewers is Shannon, and the other is Nacho, my dog. But nonetheless, look, I've said this before, and I mean it. the Cowboys are Duke. They're the Yankees. They're that team that you followed because they were good and your dad said they were great. Well, yeah, they were great, but like, being a fan of the Cowboys in 2025 is like it's like being a fan of the Roman Empire in 476 AD, the year it fell. I mean, it's like, yeah, you had a couple good millennia, all right, but it's over. You haven't been good for a long time, and you're living on memories. Why? What's the attitude?
Understand, Cowboys fans, it's not as if we hate you. I don't like the Cowboys, but in the same breath, we'd like to help. We'd like to sympathize with you. We'd like to see you feel better about yourselves. But you can't. It's just it's unfortunate, but we will continue to try, because one of the things we're doing here today is we are going to go through the NFL as the NFL begins the season, and we have game picks. We can't pick the game from last night, but
we're going to have fun today, Ed.
Well, we are going to pick games unlike anybody else has ever picked an NFL game before, and we're going to make sure that we are going to be just as good as the bookies, no doubt about it. But moving on, let's start with this. Johnny Manziel is one of the most screwed up human beings to ever hit professional sports. I mean, let's just face it. I mean, the guy had everything. He's the epitome of the $1 million arm and the 10-cent head. But he's also the guy who comes on a podcast. He goes on the podcast Nightcap, which is hosted by Shannon Sharp, and Chad Johnson. And he makes a statement when Shannon asks him about the Cleveland Browns, and all of a sudden everybody in Cleveland is all upset.
I sit here today and I go back and forth with, man, am I going to let Cleveland off the hook and just like let it go? Or am I going to sit here with hate and animosity in my heart for the rest of my life? And I finally sit here today and I'm like, fuck it. I think I'm going to be pissed at them and hate them forever. So it is what it is, what it is, man. No love for the Browns. I'm rooting for 0-16 seasons every season.
Now, I'm going to be honest. I didn't hear the podcast live. I was listening to the Dan Patrick show. And Dan Patrick, very good. I mean, Patrick has got, in my opinion, the best show out there. It really is. It's easy. It's informative. It's fun. Great show and a great guy as well. But Dan goes after Johnny Manziel and plays the statement about Cleveland going 0-16, and he fires back at Johnny.
They did draft you in the first round. Remember when he sent a message, draft me, sent that to the owner, draft me, I believe? They did. You just didn't live up to what you were supposed to. And you're blaming the Cleveland Browns for, okay, maybe organizationally, not very good. Is it mismanagement? I saw a quote that was attached to Johnny that was basically saying, hey, you should have done more research on how to position me to succeed. If they did more research on you, they wouldn't have drafted you. But to blame the Cleveland Browns, I mean, this keeps you in the news, but it is time to move on. It is time to move on, because you can blame the Browns for being the Browns, but you should have been able to take care of yourself, and you didn't.
Never did I think, ever, Mike, that I would be taking the side of Johnny Manziel. And I have to here, because apparently Dan's producers did not go just a little bit deeper into the interview, because he's taken Manziel to task here for not taking his part in basically being a screw-up. But the thing is, if you listen farther in the podcast, Manziel did take credit for it.
People will always be like, I'm blaming stuff on other people, or I'm not accountable or anything like that. But listen, at the end of the day, everything that I've got in my life and that's happened to me throughout my football career is only because of one person, myself, and the decisions that I made as a man in this life. So was Cleveland the best situation for me to go to? Did they help me knowing all the things that they knew about me? With all the research and everything, did they put me in the best situation? Absolutely not. It was not the right situation for me. But when it comes down to it, you take all of that aside, you throw it away, and you look in the mirror and you say, I've let an amazing opportunity slip. It's on me. I'm the one that has to sit with myself every single night as I watch college football or watch NFL football and be like, damn, I would be in my 12th year. I would be X, Y, and Z. I'm the one that has to lay my pillow down, lay my head on the pillow every night and be like, that coulda, woulda, shoulda, but it wasn't. And at the end of the day, a lot of my life as I've been out of football has been like, what am I going to be able to do to find a spark, to be able to be happy, to be able to give me something like football did give me? And you know what? Maybe it wasn't meant to be for me. I didn't put in the time and the effort and determination that you need to be great, that both of you guys did for the sport. And that was just maybe my stupidity, my youth, or what it was meant to be. But nevertheless, I take accountability for everything and what it is. I really didn't harm anybody other than myself when it's all said and done.
Johnny Man, it's astounding. Johnny Manziel is the biggest screw up.
I should have came back from that clip with sunglasses on because
It
I
would have
guess
been
that's
perfect.
a thing. But I'm actually outside. I should have sunglasses on.
You should. As a
Okay?
matter of fact, too, we'll give you a
Yeah.
chance to get some sunglasses before we move on. But I got to be honest with
Okay.
you. Johnny Manziel's the biggest screw up in the history of the NFL. In my career, I've never seen anybody who's worse. But the guy took responsibility for his screwing up, basically. Yeah, the Cleveland Browns are one of the worst organizations in the NFL when it comes to talent. But Manziel is right. He took all of his chops for it. So I got to go back. Dan Patrick on the show took Manziel to task for being a screw up, said you didn't take responsibility, but he did.
Well,
Shocking as it
I don't
sounds,
know.
Mike, I'm actually impressed with Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, I don't think Johnny Manziel taking accountability is as sexy a clip. I don't know if Dan ever saw the rest of the podcast. I don't know what his response was to it. I don't know if he cussed out one of his producers for just clipping
He might
something
not have
quick.
ever known. His producers basically gave it to him. I mean, they obviously cut it up and gave it to him. Dan may never have known. It's like when you're an anchor on a TV show or when you're an anchor out there on a sportscast, you're handed things by the producers. You don't know what was said before or after or what the whole story is. So I don't hold Dan responsible, but his producers sure as hell should have done a better job and put Manziel's mea culpa in there, which would have made a difference.
Yeah, I think so. And look, Johnny Manziel, anybody that read anything about him beforehand, and the Cleveland Browns did do their research. Every NFL team that's going to spend millions on somebody finds out exactly they weigh the talent versus the risks. It is kind of funny that the Browns went out and gotten Deshaun Watson, a person who was a bigger train wreck in many ways, and and spend all that money on him. But look, Johnny Manziel, like, it wasn't about football for him. He was an addict in many ways.
He was a partier.
I don't know if
what he is.
I don't know if
his
he's
money
in
and he wanted to
recovery.
party.
I don't know if he's in recovery. I don't know what he. It sounds like anybody that's ever been in any kind of recovery, and I think I was in ACOA recovery, adult children of alcoholics. I'll out myself. It turned out to be the best thing in the world for me. But like, that's not a sexy story. Like, fixing yourself isn't a sexy story. It's too bad because that's a better story. Actually, Johnny Manziel probably is. I don't look. Johnny Manziel made some money. He's probably not going to be homeless anytime soon. He could be, but people like that, I don't even look like. Oh, they could have had a great football career. No, like, maybe the guy just needs to have a decent life.
He's just a footnote is really all he is at this point. But
Right.
that moves over to something else that's part of a discussion here in the NFL season as it begins. There are certain franchises in the NFL right now that if I was a player of any real note and had any great talent, I sure as hell wouldn't want to be chosen by them because they've got a history of screwing things up. They're horrible organizations. Look, it comes back to an old discussion I had with somebody years ago where if Dan Marino would have been taken by any one of the other teams before the Dolphins got to him, he might never have been the Dan Marino that he was because he happened to get Don Shula. Now, he never won a Super Bowl, but it still is the organization you get in with. Off the top of my head, Mike, the Raiders, the Browns, the Dolphins, maybe even the Bears and the Cardinals. I mean, these are franchises I wouldn't want to be stuck with because they just haven't made they don't have the personnel, nor do they have the wherewithal to make the good decisions and the good choices for their roster and also for their coaches, especially the Cleveland Browns, who've got to be, well, the Cincinnati Bengals are up there as well. I mean, sometimes you forget the Cincinnati Bengals are actually in the NFL because they don't do anything. They sit there, they win a couple of games, they go away. But in the same breath, they're
They
another
were just in the
organization.
Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Couple years ago, one shot banging out. Where have they been before and since?
Okay, when we start doing our picks today,
Okay.
when I take the Bengals to win it all, you'll see, sir. You'll see
Okay.
what's going on.
But would you disagree with me? There are certain organizations out there that just
Yeah,
suck. And the Browns are there.
but I also
Johnny Manziel
I
got it
also
right.
think
The Browns are a terrible organization when it comes to deciding who runs the franchise and who they pick and who they put on the field.
yeah, but I also think that it's cyclical. You know, the Commanders were an awful organization, and now they're not.
Okay.
You know, the Bengals were an awful organization, and now they're not. Believe it or not, they had a bad year. They started out badly last year. Burrow got hurt, but the who would want to go to the Patriots right now? Who would want to go to the Patriots 5 years ago? I think it's cyclical, but are you talking historically bad organizations? Well, okay, the San Diego Chargers and now the LA Chargers have never in their franchise history won a Super Bowl.
Good call. Good call. I
Right.
just left them off my list right here. But no, I think that if somebody wanted to go to the Patriots now, they'd go because Mike Vrabel's in charge. They've cleaned out the mess that Belichick and the organization left behind. So, yeah, they might want to go there. It's an opportunity. It still is a franchise that spends money and has a fairly decent ownership. The Browns just screw up from top to bottom. They can't get anything right. And Manziel's right about that.
Okay. So your whole take today is Johnny Manziel is a savant, and everybody
No, I
else
just
stupid.
think that Johnny Manziel gets a little bit of a bad rap anymore, especially when they say that he doesn't take responsibility. He did, and I applaud him for that. But as far as a player goes, I'll go back to what I said at the top of the show. He's got a $10 million arm and a 10-cent head. And that's
He went on that. He went on Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharp, Mr. OnlyFans podcast. He does have a 10-cent head.
I told you. Good. All right.
You want to have a real conversation, Johnny? Come on our podcast.
Oh, I'd take that in a heartbeat. That would be. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a hold of Manziel. He won't come on the podcast because we're not Ocho Cinco or Shannon Sharp. I get that. But I'm going to put out the invitation. Come on in here.
All right.
Have it with a couple of guys who basically know more about football than you do, and we'll go from there. Moving on, the NFL season begins. So it is time to go ahead and start something which hopefully will become a tradition. Mike and I are going to delve deeply into the teams, the games, and we are going to pick our teams, our games, whatever, in our own complete manner of doing things, which has nothing to do with statistics, nothing to do with the betting line, nothing to do with how you're going to do it home and away. It has to do with the real gut feeling of what fans get in the National Football League. So let's begin on the season itself, just on the teams. These are not the games. We begin in the AFC East. First of all, Mike, I'm going to let you go first and tell us about why you like or dislike these teams.
Well, I think the Buffalo Bills will end up in the AFC title game for the simple reason that Josh Allen seems like a nice guy and he talks to kids after practice, and they've been screwed a lot of years, and Buffalo fans are really nice fans, and it's a great city. And so I believe the Buffalo Bills will end up in the AFC title game. The Miami Dolphins are screwed because Ed, you used to cover them, and I don't.
Fair.
I think everything you touch is cursed.
They've never recovered.
And I think they've never recovered. And the Dolphins, look, they have a milk toast of a coach. I mean, that guy couldn't motivate. he couldn't get Lawrence Taylor ready for a game. I mean, Mike Martini, like, come on. He doesn't excite me. He doesn't move me. The New England Patriots will bring up the rear. I don't believe the Jets are that bad. Now that the Jets have gotten rid of Aaron Rodgers, I'm kind of rooting for them. My good friend John Pepper, who taught me how to say, "Are you serious?" like Dick Vitale. I am rooting for the Jets because I like John Pepper, and the Jets suck every year. And I just feel like the Jets could be good this year for reasons that don't have anything to do with the roster. And as people will see as we go along with these predictions, we don't calibrate the games like these statistical analysis people. We celebrate them.
Exactly.
And the New England Patriots with Mike Vrabel will be a 500 team this year and actually a 10-win team next year. And it's because Mike Vrabel's in and all the Belichick losers are out. And the only reason I root against them is because Robert Kraft is I don't know. Robert Kraft just seems like a phony. You talk about a guy who he does. His hands are probably so soft. He's never worked a day in his life. He embodies. He embodies white rich grossness to me.
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills will have a great season. Now,
Yeah.
The Buffalo Bills will have a great season. However, I do have to take a little umbrage with you when you say that their fans are nice, because I'm still going to pick the Buffalo Bills despite the fact that I was on a Miami Dolphins bus many years ago, leaving the game after the Dolphins beat them, and we were pelted with rocks and beer cans. Now, I will say that was just then.
What?
It's not now. Exactly. The bus was pelted. But you have to give the Bills credit, and you have to root for the Bills because still it is the home of the chicken wing. So we have to always take that into account because chicken wings are the most important thing when it comes to NFL food every single time of the year. The Miami Dolphins
hot wings were born in Buffalo. I don't think Buffalo wings, that's why they called them that.
There you go. The Miami Dolphins, as you said, are screwed indeed because they're just a franchise that has been floundering about making terrible personnel decisions for quite some time. Tua Tagovailoa is a really great quarterback, not a great quarterback, a good quarterback who basically is one injury away from being shoveled out. I will agree with you this on Mike McDaniels. He's the strangest looking guy I've ever seen coach a national football team in my life. I do want to tell him one time, Mike, the wet look is out. So because the wet look is out and Mike still holds on to the wet look with his hair, I'm going to say the Dolphins will not do well this year. The New England Patriots will do well this year because they have Mike Vrabel there. However, I will agree with you that I do have to be temper a little bit on my New England Patriots picks because they are owned by a guy who likes to get the happy massage, right? Okay? You have good time, you have massage. So if Kraft gets enough massages, they may do well this year. And the New York Jets, I'm going to pick to be at the very bottom of the AFC East because I hate the Jets. I've never liked the Jets. And the reason I dislike the Jets is because when I was covering the Dolphins at the Orange Bowl, the Jets fans always started a fight in certain areas of the Orange Bowl. Always. Every single time there were fights with the Jets. No other team, but it was the Jets fans. And by the way, you guys are terrible fighters because the Dolphins beat you up every single time. So there's my picks for the AFC East. We move on.
Good. That was good. All right.
We move on. I'll go ahead and go first here with the AFC North. The Cincinnati Bengals, as I've already said.
By the way, Ed, are we on camera at the same time as these stats are on?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
All right. I'm going to go get my sunglasses. Well, keep going.
Okay, you can go get your sunglasses because, Mike, I think it makes well. The Cincinnati Bengals are one of those teams that are always going to be in, out. You never know whether they're going to be any good. But I do have to say something about Cincinnati and why I'm not rooting for them. Skyline chili is awful. I realize that there are going to be a lot of people who will be very upset about this, but I've had Skyline chili before. And I don't like the whole pie, whatever they make this with, the cheese and how they put it all together. I don't like Skyline chili, so I'm going to have to pick against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cleveland Browns I'm going to have to pick against right away because they haven't made a decent, smart personnel decision since Jesus was a puppy. I mean, it's been a very long time for them. They made a mistake, as we talked about with Johnny Manziel, but they also made a mistake with Deshaun Watson. And Cleveland, I do feel sorry for the fans because I think they deserve something because, let's face it, it is where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is, and I would like to see Cleveland win so we can have a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame celebration at the same time, but not this year. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to have to root against this year because I just want to see Aaron Rodgers fail. It's the end of the story with this. And the thing is, I love the Steelers because one of my closest friends in the world is there. Jeff, my buddy Jeff, I know you're there and you're a hard Steelers fan. I'm sorry for you, but I have to root against the Steelers because you got Aaron Rodgers. I want to see him fail. So does the NFL, as a matter of fact. So do a lot of people. And the Baltimore Ravens are still the class of that division. And the reason why they're the class of that division is simply because it's Baltimore. It's got the Inner Harbor. It's got great crab fishing. It's got great food. So I'm going to have to go with Baltimore, not necessarily because of any of these technical things and any of these stats, but because you got great food. The people in Baltimore are much nicer than you think they are. And my cousin lives right down the street in Ellicott City. So I have to root for the Baltimore Ravens. Mike, to you.
I almost ditto everything. The Bengals, like I said, the Bengals are going to end up winning it all this year. They'll win the division. They'll win it all. And it's not because I love Joe Burrow. No, that's not true. I do love Joe Burrow. He's the wokest quarterback out there. He gets it, Ed. He's not anti-woke. He understands people that don't look like him. He's actually, and you know what? He's also good. And you know, I like Chase Oliver. I like their receiving core. Who am I missing? Chase.
I don't know. Who are you missing?
No, the receiver number 5.
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Chase Oliver. No, all right.
Because it's a Cincinnati Bengals team. I don't pay attention to them.
Okay. The Bengals. I really like the Bengals.
Like the Bengals. Okay, good.
You know, same reason the Steelers. How Mike Tomlin could put his trust at the end of his tenure, which he will be fired this year, in Aaron Rodgers, and whether he or not he had anything to do with that. He had anything to do with the personnel acquisition there. I think that one's a killer. I think, boy, of all the people, I think Aaron Rodgers he just irks me. I want to see him have a bad ending. I don't know. I don't I care about the Ravens, but they're in the Bengals and the Bills way, and I want to see the Bengals and Bills play for the AFC title this year, not the Chiefs or the Ravens. So Lamar Jackson, wait another year. I don't really care about you. The Cleveland Browns, you're a shit show. You always are a shit show. I wish that Shador Sanders, I wish him well. You talk about an organization that Johnny Manziel wishes weren't the one he went to that could have helped and supported him. I don't know if Cleveland is the place for Shador Sanders to become an NFL starting quarterback and learn all the good ways in the NFL. Either way, I'm okay. I'm okay with that fan base just being miserable again.
And they will be, unfortunately. Yeah. Next up, to the AFC South. Mike, you're first up.
Well, that one, Ed, I'm looking at this, and I think I care less. I might care less about this division than I do about blue cheese, which to me is like, it's dirty socks. It tastes and smells like dirty socks.
How can you hate blue cheese? You can't have chicken wings without blue cheese.
Maybe. I guess I'm kind of rooting for the Titans because a friend of mine, Steve Gorman, I don't know if you know that name. He's a drummer for the Black Crowes when they were big, and he's on his own now, and he actually does what we do sometimes. He's very good at it. He roots. He lives in Tennessee. I'll root for the Titans because he likes the Titans. I don't care about the Colts. I don't care about the Jacksonville Jaguars. I could give a rat's ass about the Houston Texans. I'm sorry. I don't care about any of these teams.
Which is easy because a lot of the fans also don't care for the teams in this division as well. As far as the Tennessee Titans are concerned, I will root for the Titans because they have Cam Ward there, who's a University of Miami kid, really good player. But most importantly, Broadway in Nashville is right across the bridge. I mean, you've got to hope for a big winning season there because you can go party on Broadway, go to the game. You can then come from the game and go party on Broadway again. You're right there on top of one of the greatest party spaces near any National Football League stadium. So because of those reasons, I got to root for the Titans. The Indianapolis
I mean,
Colts.
yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say you get out of the airport in Nashville, and as you're walking to get your bags, there's some country music star burgeoning that you don't even know who they are. They're playing for free, and
Exactly.
in a little bar.
That's why you
So
got to root for them. The Indianapolis Colts.
yeah,
Again, I kind of fall on your side on this. There's nothing about Indianapolis that I can think of that really is a saving grace, save for the fact that they are in
no,
Indiana, and Indiana's a nice state, and they're nice people. But you're a basketball town and a basketball state. So the Indianapolis Colts can't see it this year. The Jacksonville Jaguars have never really been much to worry about or never much worry to care about. And as a matter of fact, you have the Landing, which is where I always used to go for Florida Gator, Georgia Bulldog games before the game. You'd go there and party. That's not even a great place to go anymore. The Hooters was one of the best places to go there. And think about that. If one of your culinary contributions to America is you've got a good Hooters in town, you really may not deserve to win much there. And as for the Houston Texans, I've been to Houston a couple of times. I've enjoyed my time there a lot. But the Texans are another one of those teams where it kind of goes, well, all right, if you're a Texan fan, maybe. But otherwise, it's the AFC South. Tennessee. I know that the Texans are the powerhouse in the AFC South. I get it. But I'm going to have to root for the Titans this year simply because, and I know it's going to be tough because they may not be that good this year, but they got Nashville, they got Cam Ward, and I have a great time every time I go to Nashville. So that
yeah,
makes
but
all
I
the
don't even know anybody on the Texans other than C.J. Stroud. I
well,
literally I couldn't tell you another player on their roster.
and there
T.J.
it is.
What's J.J. Watt's retired, and then and the Colts. I'm rooting. You know what I'm rooting against the Colts this year because they covered up Robert Irsay's relapses. And they probably enabled him to die earlier than he should have. So screw you, Colts. I hope you rot in hell and lose the division.
Moving on. I don't know where we go after that. Moving on.
Yeah.
The AFC West is next. I think is it my turn to go first? I think. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess you went on the last one. Okay. The Denver Broncos, I'm always going to root for because I lived in Denver for 4 years. Love the people there. Love the city. Love the vibe that goes on there. Broncos fans are some of the best fans I've ever been around. So I will always root for the Broncos, despite the fact that they may still have a fair season to go with. I'm going to root for them over the Kansas City Chiefs. No reason. I don't necessarily dislike the Kansas City Chiefs. And one of my best friends in the world, David, he and his family, and my godson is a huge Chiefs fan. So it's tough for me to root against them. But it's time to move on. It's time we get a little change here. Patrick Mahomes, GOAT B, maybe next to Brady and all the rest. So, but I'm still sort of rooting for the Broncos. The Raiders, I will root against every single day of the week. When the Raiders and the Jets lose on a Sunday, it's a perfect Sunday. And just because the last time I was in Las Vegas, Mandalay Bay took me for $200 at the damn chips. I mean, I did $200 and I had that bet. I had that crap bet. And if it wasn't for that guy who moved a chip, I would have gotten my money's worth. But I didn't, so I'm going to have to root against him. And the Los Angeles Chargers, they're still San Diego. Mike, I still think of them as the San Diego Chargers. I can't get used to them with the LA Chargers.
Yeah.
They've made more bad moves than anybody can think of. They've never won a Super Bowl. They've never been in contention there. So in this division, I say the Denver Broncos and not the Kansas City Chiefs. Huge upset. Go for it, Mike.
Look, you know why I don't like Kansas City. You know, they beat this war drum before the game. The fans do the tomahawk chop. You know, I know a lot of people, including Rhonda DeValde. She works at the Haskell Indian School. She's been out there protesting for years. She's actually Native American. She protests with other Native Americans. They don't like to be mocked anymore. It's the only living people that we still caricature as team mascots. Everybody thinks it's fine. Oh, it's a warrior ethos. No, doing, slovenly white people that have been eating wings and drinking beers in the parking lot 3 hours before the game, doing the tomahawk chop while their
3 hours
belly.
before the game. Have you ever been to a Kansas City game? They're there 5 hours before the game. I mean, they're
Yeah, yeah.
serious. I'll give them that, man. They're serious in Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, but the idea of like, I don't know, the idea of tomahawk chopping while your belly protrudes over your pants,
It's a bad look.
and
It's a bad look. I
it's
agree.
a bad look. It's just a bad look, and it's just like enough already. You want to change your name, change your theme. Fine. There's a small part of me that likes Kansas City because Travis and Tay Tay are real, and that's real love, and it's not. We're not
I'm,
joking
I'm
around
glad
about
you
that,
brought
Ed.
that up. You know something? And that's a good point, too. Maybe I need to amend what I said there and give a little chop to the Kansas City Chiefs because Kelsey
Yeah.
and Taylor are the perfect couple. They are going to run America soon. They will spawn children that will run the world, that will be part of the universe. It will overtake the galaxy itself because of what they are able to bring to us. So maybe because of that and the fact that they will change America for the better, we might need
Yeah.
to root for Kansas City. We might.
Well, I'm not going to root for them, but I root for them to lose because that will necessitate Travis's retirement and will essentially mean that he will be eligible in 5 years for the Hall of Fame at the exact same time that Taylor Swift. You didn't know this. You don't get these kind of stats on other shows, Ed. Taylor Swift will be eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because that will be 25 years since her first single was released in 2006. To be to be inducted into the Cleveland Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Brilliant.
you need to 25 years since your first single is released. Well, Taylor and Travis can go into their respective Hall of Fames in 2031. Yeah,
2031, I think. Okay.
2031.
Mike, you bring
Yeah.
up an even better reason why maybe we should be rooting for Kansas City to lose this year. Because if Kansas City
Yes.
loses, that will then mean that Travis will retire even faster. And if Travis retires faster, then they can start making children. And they can start those spawns that are going to basically lead the way forward for mankind.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to change the way that the galaxy runs. So the sooner they get
Oh, yeah.
started and have those children, it could be a huge boon and a benefit to mankind.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like the opposite of Hitler Youth. It's like woke youth, little enlightened kids running around. We like that, Ed.
There
We
you
like
go.
that
They
on the
can
show.
sing, they can play sports, they can do everything, and they will
Yeah,
be
it'll be like the Von Trapp family, but they can also be tight ends.
the
All right,
saviors.
let's go.
There you go. Lose.
Saviors of society. The other teams, I don't care.
Okay.
Chargers, Broncos, who cares?
All right, here we go. Moving on into the
Here's the way,
National
Ed, by the
Football
way,
Conference. What?
Ed,
What?
Ed, by
What?
the way,
What? What? What?
while we're embarrassing ourselves doing this, do
Oh,
we
we're not
do
embarrassed.
any of us even know the starting quarterbacks or the head coaches for any of these teams?
I don't care. That's not what this is about. We're not
Oh,
talking
that's
about
right.
stats and
Right.
quarterbacks. There's more to it than this. The NFC East, you're up first.
The NFC East, I can tell you right now, Dak Prescott is. I'm kind of rooting for him because I don't know. No, I'm not
Do you
rooting for the
feel sorry
Cowboys. I
for
just
him? Is that it? Is that it?
No, I don't. I don't feel sorry for him. I just, yeah, I don't want him to be like Romo, where he never does anything in the postseason. I kind of root for Dak Prescott to go to the next level. I wouldn't be bummed if the Cowboys won it. The Giants, the Giants are feast or famine, and right now they're famine. I think they'll be better. The Eagles, the Eagles are very, if Jalen Carter cannot spit on anyone, the Eagles are very close to becoming a repeat Super Bowl champion. They have all the tools. If they stay healthy, they can do it. Shoot, Philadelphia has been on a great sporting run lately, and I just. I'm gonna go for I root for the Eagles. I like Jalen Hurts. I like that team. The Commanders, it's like I had a love or hate relationship with that team because it was the team I covered for many years, and a team that I didn't like because Dan Snyder run it. Well, now Josh Harris does, and it's funny, he simultaneously owns the 76ers and the Commanders. I think that Jalen Daniels is a special quarterback. I mean, I think he's the real deal.
Jalen
And
Hurts.
Excuse me?
Jalen Hurts.
No, no, I'm talking about the Washington Commanders quarterback.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the Eagles. Okay.
Yeah, we got two Jalen's in the division.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm sorry.
know
Okay.
starting quarterbacks. I don't know if you knew that, Ed.
Yes, I did.
Um, and Dan Quinn's the coach. And I'll just say this. I'll just say this. I root for the Commanders now. I hope that they seem to be getting things right. Um, I like. I want them to win the division. I'd love to see them play the Eagles in the NFC Championship game again. I'd love to see them see if they can take them out. But yeah, I can say that I root for the Commanders to win it. I don't know
Okay.
win it all, but you know.
Okay. That's fair. Now, I cannot root for the Dallas Cowboys ever. I understand this Cowboys fans. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the things that I've talked about with the Cowboys, people agree with. But Dallas, I love Dallas. It's a wonderful place. Look, I mean, Dallas, Fort Worth. I've been to the Fort Worth Stockyards a number of times, been to some of the shows there, had a great time every time I'm in Dallas. But I'm a little bit worried about the people in Dallas and Texas as well, because everything is still shotguns, revolvers, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and some of the nonsense that goes on down there. I mean, I really can't root for the Cowboys right now for those reasons as well. Also, I've never liked the Cowboys since the time of Bob Lilly when he retired. The New York Giants,
Wow.
I have to root against the New York Giants every single day of the week because, and this is a main reason, when I worked at a company called News Sport in the mid-1990s, a television, a sports TV network, we had a guy there whose name was Andy. He was an annoying, 5 foot nothing redhead with a red beard and red mustache who every single time he came in, he glorified the Giants. It was the wonder years of the Giants. Everything was the Giants. And I got sick and tired of it. Everything, he'd always come in and tell everybody how great the Giants are, even when they were losing. It was annoying. So because of that, I can no longer I can never root for the New York Giants. The Philadelphia Eagles, I got to root for the Eagles. The Eagles. I mean, come on. I got to pick them in this division simply because of Philadelphia cheesesteaks. No other reason. I mean, there's a lot of other reasons, but you guys got cheesecakes. You started all that.
Well, there is another reason. My brother-in-law, Scott Nagy, one of the great human beings on earth, is a huge Eagles fan.
Okay.
I mean, he's like you can't even. It was my stepmom's birthday last night. My sister and Scott had her over. I don't even think he blew out candles. He was on the couch watching that game, and God bless him. He's a true fan.
God
And
bless
so
him. That's it.
Scott, I'm Scott Nagy. I root for Scott Nagy, and he roots for the Eagles. So the Eagles, I'm going to do a do-over. I want to see the Commanders do well. I don't want to see them beat the Eagles.
Okay. And as far as the Washington Commanders are concerned, from my side, I love Washington, D.C., have a lot of friends there. But I have to root against the Commanders in all senses because if the Commanders were to win and were to win a Super Bowl, you know who would come out and say, see, it's because I'm here. See, it's because of my leadership. See, it's because I brought it here, and without me, they'd never have it. It's a bigly win. And I just can't have that. America doesn't need that right now. We don't need another distraction here from the big orange. So I have to root against the Commanders for now. When the big orange is gone, I might come back. But for right now, I got to stick with the Eagles in the NFC East.
Well, our president also wants to return the Commanders to their old name, which is a dictionary-defined racial slur. So, yeah, I'm thinking that, I'm thinking that you're right. He would take credit for them.
Not only would he take credit, but he would say, "Okay, now that you've won the Super Bowl, it's time to change your name back," and we just can't have it. So we move on from there. All right, next up, the NFC North. I'll go first here. The Chicago Bears I will root for because Chicago has some of the best food in the world. I mean, and every time I've been to Chicago, it's been a great time. I love that Wrigley Field is there, and I love Wrigleyville. I've been there many times and enjoyed it. And not only that, but you have the new TV show or the show that oh God, I can't think of it now. The Chicago TV show that's on Apple TV, The Mule? No, not The Mule. I can't think of it.
The Bear.
The Bear.
The Bear.
Thank you. The Bear is a brilliant show. It's a wonderful show.
We may be the most unhip duo ever.
No, it's okay. I just couldn't think about it. But The Bear is a great show. So for that reason, and the fact that Chicago's got great food, I can root for the Bears despite the fact that the Bears always let down their fans. The Detroit Lions,
Yeah.
the only time I have ever been in Detroit in my life was about 1,000,000 years ago, and it was a bombed out war shelter. It was as bad as Beirut. And that was right near the hockey arena and the baseball stadium. So Detroit, I get it. I mean, certainly the place where my wonderful 1969 Dodge Charger 1,000,000 years ago started its life in Detroit. So I have to hold a little bit of a niceness in my heart for that, but I can't root for Detroit this year. The Green Bay Packers, look, I'll tell you, the Packers got one of the best press boxes in the world because they have home-cooked food in the press box, and the fans there are awesome fans that they love it. So I kind of want to root for the Packers simply because of, again, it's coming down to a culinary issue here with these. By the way, Detroit has no culinary finesse. We'll just get that out of the way right now. But the Packers,
Yeah, they have a good Greek town is cool.
but I
Greek
went,
town
see, I've
and
never been to
Detroit,
Greektown, so
and the Detroit
and
pizza,
Wisconsin.
the square pizzas are good.
And not only that, I brought back some cheese from Wisconsin the time I was there, so that's
Oh, the curds, the squeaky ones.
But I think I'm going to have to, in this division, I'm going to have to root for the Minnesota Vikings simply because they're the latest team that pissed off a lot of people out there by adding male cheerleaders. So for the fact that they're just another team, they're not the only team. Other teams in the NFL do it too, where they have male cheerleaders. But the fact that they pissed off so many people who said, I'm getting rid of my season tickets now that they have male cheerleaders, good for the Vikings, baby. Get out there, make a run on America, get them all started talking. So I'll go with the Vikings this year. Mike.
Oh boy, the Cincinnati Bengals receiver, by the way, on our fact check was I said Chase Hollis, Jamar Chase. My God, number one in on your program and in your
Number
hearts.
one in your heart.
Yeah, and the out of this division, I don't know. I mean, does it? I don't know if it doesn't really do anything for. Yeah, I like the Lions because they were on the doorstep a year ago. They got upset by the Commanders in the NFC title game. Detroit hasn't had. The Lions haven't had a speck of good news for a long time, and they've been on the doorstep for a couple years now. And Jared Goff, he's become a different quarterback in Detroit than he was in LA. So I root for him. I like the Lions. I hope they do it this year. The Vikings, look, they got a great fan base. When the Bears do well, it's good for the NFL because Soldier Field, Chicago. I mean, it just has a history to it. I got to know Brian Piccolo, the running back who
Yeah.
died of cancer. Gail Sayers, I got to know his daughter really well in DC, Lori Piccolo, and his youngest daughter. And when Gail Sayers died a few years ago, I actually called her up. I said, "Look, did you know him at all?" And she said, "Yeah." And I go, and I helped her write a first person piece for the Washington Post about, what Gail Sayers meant to her growing up, even though she didn't know her dad growing up because he died. And it was, like it put me in touch with like a person who was like I didn't know anything about other than the movie. God, what was the movie called in the 70s? It
Brian
was
Song.
a tear. Brian's Song, yeah, and it was about Brian Piccolo who died of cancer, and Gail Sayers was his black roommate, and he was the white running back, and it was sort of this racial harmony thing. Well, that there was a lot that people didn't know about Brian Piccolo as a person. I got to know him through his daughter in death. And I'm thinking, you know what? If the Bears had a great season, I'd love it.
Okay.
I'd love it. The Vikings, yeah, the male cheerleaders, okay. Packers, I don't know. It's everything right with Americana and football. If you ever been to a Packers game,
That's true. It is.
you literally drive up and you can park almost by the stadium. The stadium's surrounded by houses that say, for $10 you can, get a cup of
I love
coffee
that.
here and go use the bathroom.
It's still
I
neighborhood
love.
football.
Yeah, Vince Lombardi, when pride still mattered, he lived by the stadium. He lived in a little Rambler. It wasn't anything fancy. I mean, they're everything that professional sports should be about. The people own the team, and yet, I'm sick of them. I don't know what it is. I'm sick of them. They got Micah Parsons. I'm just sick. I'm sick of like the wholesome nostalgia. No, you're not the Hoosiers of the NFL anymore. You had the last two quarterbacks that were really great for you ended up both divas while they were playing for you. Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. I can't stand them both. So screw you, Packers.
There we go. Moving on to the NFC South. Here we go. The Atlanta Falcons, I don't think will win the division, and the reason being is because they're just the Atlanta Falcons. They're a very good team, no doubt about it, but I'm not really a huge fan of Atlanta. I have been there many times. The fact that I think the varsity is still there selling, basically open as a restaurant. That's one reason to root for Atlanta. But I think that the people in Atlanta need to spend more time worrying about the fact that maybe they'll get a hockey team one day and you'll really be a major league franchise. The New Orleans Saints, I have to root for every single time out of the box. Why? Because it's New Orleans. Because there's nothing like the food in New Orleans. There's nothing like nothing like getting a beignet at the end of the day and a cup of coffee. There's nothing like going to all the different restaurants. I love New Orleans. And not only that, but because of the anniversary of Katrina that's here, it would be perfect timing for the New Orleans Saints to contend for a Super Bowl and even win a Super Bowl, though it's doubtful. Doubtful, but I'm still going to root for the Saints to get back on track.
I don't even know who the roster is.
Doesn't make a difference. It's food in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's all that counts. Food, New Orleans,
Yeah,
Mardi
you're
Gras,
right.
Jazz Festival, go from there. That makes New Orleans my perennial favorite in the NFC South. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, look, the fact that Tom Brady wants to retire and wants to go into the Hall of Fame wearing a Tampa Bay Buccaneers helmet is all wrong to begin with. And I've never really been a Bucs fan because I have a connection to Tampa Bay with a former member of my family who is not a member of my family who is living in Tampa Bay. So therefore, I would like this person to have a really bad year. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I ain't going any farther on that one, but that's about as deep as I can go. And the Carolina Panthers... The Carolina Panthers, I like Carolina, but the fact is, you're NASCAR. You're not that much fan, and I don't really have much of a connection to Carolina. So with the NFC South, always, every single time, gonna root for the New Orleans Saints, and just it's happy to see the people in Tampa Bay suffer just a little bit because you got it. You had Brady. You were with the GOAT for a while. Go away. Next up, go Mike.
Another division I could care less about, other than you're right, New Orleans. I love New Orleans. If anybody's never had a piece of crawfish pie in their life, they haven't lived. And so, or a New Orleans po' boy sandwich with the fried shrimp and the remoulade, the remoulade sauce, and what? Oh my God, it's just ridiculous. The food there is ridiculous. Carolina's actually got some good barbecue. I'll say that. And
okay.
Atlanta, I've had some good meals in Atlanta, but and at a couple Southern restaurants, but nothing, other than something in Buckhead, nothing special.
Look, if we made these NFL picks all about gastronomics every single year, it would have to be the Saints winning the Super Bowl.
It would be the Saints winning the Super Bowl. If we made these picks about strip bars every year, the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Tampa Bay.
They have
do you remember the name of the famous strip bar there?
I believe it was the Mons Venus.
Mons Venus. Exactly right. Every time
which
you go to the
rhymes
Super Bowl a long time ago.
Which shockingly rhymes with man's penis. My God.
Shockingly, and of course, that's where we're going to stop and move on to the next one. To the NFC West. Go ahead, Mike. You get first shot at the NFC West.
Well, I grew up a San Francisco 49ers fan, having been born in Napa, California. Remember my grandfather yelling at his AC Delco radio in the backyard when John Brody threw an interception. I remember Gene Washington, one of my favorite receivers of all time. I used to wear number 18 because I wanted to be Gene Washington. Everything about the 49ers. And then when they got Montana and I was in college, oh my God, the years, the still, to me, the greatest NFL team ever, wasn't the 72 Dolphins or whatever, the unbeaten teams. I think it's the 84 Niners. They lost one game. They had every defender you could imagine that went to the Hall of Fame, every receiver, everything, and they beat Marino's Dolphins and the one time he went to the Super Bowl. But either way,
I was there.
Now their coach is Kyle Shanahan. I got to know Kyle a little bit in DC. He's the most conniving, like he's bad. He's as bad as his dad. I can't stand Kyle. I root for his demise, and so I hope that I hope that Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy has an awful season and he's intercepted 20 times and Kyle gets fired. That would mean the world to me. The Rams I kind of like because Sean McVay's the coach. And I like Matt Stafford. They won the Super Bowl a couple years ago, or about 3 or 4 now. But I like the Rams. Not that I necessarily have any of affection for anybody else on their roster, but yeah, Sean McVay seems like a decent human being, and knew him a little bit. I'll root for them. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
root for them. And the Cardinals. I mean, it's God. The Cardinals. You're right. It's like NFL purgatory. Like what happened since Kurt Warner took them to the
Pretty
Super
much.
Bowl once? Like what? Like now, I do like their quarterback, Kyler Murray. He's fun to watch, and when he's healthy, he's very good. But I don't know. I just see them as a middling team. 10 wins at the most, and an early first round playoff loss. The Seattle Seahawks. I God, Seattle's such a great town. It's noisy. It's the 12th man is real. I love the stadium. I love the whole environment. Nothing like Pike's Market and flying salmon thrown across the. It's just there's so many good things to say about Seattle, but I don't know. Another team I'm kind of. I don't. I have no connection with them. I don't even know who their quarterback is. Geno Smith. Who knows? Who cares?
Now, I will occasionally root for the LA Rams because, as a member of the Screen Actors Guild, I have been there to work sometimes in movies and films. And because that's where my community is, where my friends are who are in the entertainment community. However, you do have the gaudiest stadium in the history of mankind. So I think go ahead and enjoy the stadium. It's overpriced food. And by the way, there really is no culinary greatness to Los Angeles. It's kind of like show up and buy an
No.
overpriced hot dog and a beer. So I think that for the Rams this year, you may have to wait another year. The Arizona Cardinals, what a shame. I mean, Phoenix is a nice city. I've been there recently, enjoyed it. It's 572,000 degrees in the shade, but of course the humidity is 2%, which makes everything so much better. Phoenix in Arizona, it's nice, but it's look when the biggest tourist attraction you have is going to the OK Corral, and having to drive down there. I mean, you got to worry
But
about if
it takes a
it,
while to get to Tombstone.
it takes a while to get to Tombstone. It's like 3 hours away, I think, at this point. And I know there's a lot of great areas up north, but Arizona, I've never really had a great affection for. I had a girlfriend there back about 457 years ago. God bless her. But when I go into Phoenix, I just look at Camelback Mountain, and that's it. San Francisco 49ers, greatest city, one of the greatest cities in the world. Was there this year for Lady Shannon's birthday, had an amazing time, great food, wonderful time in Napa. I mean, I love it, the fact that in San Francisco, but the problem with it is their stadium's not in San Francisco. It's like, what, 300
In
miles
Santa
out of the
Clara.
city? It's in Santa Clara. So I root for the city, but because you guys are no longer in San Francisco, I love the city, I love it, but I'm going to have to say no to San Francisco this year. I will say, and I think my pick this year is going to be a shock pick. I think Seattle's going to take the division. Why? The fish market that's there, the great people that are there, the wonderful water sports that are there, the wonderful it's amazing. I love Seattle, and not only that, you got the best wines anywhere. Washington State wines are better than California wines, so I got to pick the Seattle Seahawks this year.
Oh my God, that's as bad as Ryan Clark's comment about Tom Brady and Peyton Manning not being generational talents, which he said recently. Napa
Look,
wines
Mike, we didn't
are
say that any of this was going to be logical.
all right. Okay, but I'm saying Napa wines versus Seattle. I mean,
Oh, Washington
you're
State wines are the best.
uh,
The
I
best.
mean, you're looking at Boone's Farm versus my God, Mondavi. Come on, let's go.
That is not booze. Have you ever had a good Washington State wine?
Yeah. I've had a Grigio. That's not bad there. I've had a nice white
Go
wine
with the
there.
reds, man. Go with the Hawk Crest Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay.
Magnificent, okay? So
Okay.
we're almost out of
Okay,
time, so we got to roll on here.
They can't make anything like that in Washington like they make it cake bread cellars in Napa. None. Never.
Okay, we'll get into that another day. We're almost out of time, but we got to get the picks in here because we decided now we didn't get the Thursday night game. So we're going to make sure to get the rest of the games from here
Yeah.
and figure out where we go. Okay, first of all, here we go. Mike, Tampa Bay,
Do we
Atlanta.
have are we doing spreads or just winners?
No, just winners. The hell with spreads, man. Anybody can do spreads. If you want
All
to,
right.
you can, but there has to be a completely illogical reason behind it. So I'll give you the first one. Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Who do you like?
I like the Bucks simply because I have no idea even who's on the Falcons.
Oh, wait a minute. Before we do this, we got, wait a minute. Is that a Monday game? Hold on a sec. I got to just see if I got this. No? Okay. Okay,
What?
wait. We'll come back around. No,
The
I'm missing
Chiefs.
the Friday. I'm missing the Friday game. Kansas City
Well,
and the
the, the
Chargers.
Chiefs, the Chiefs, the Chiefs play tonight.
Right, I'm missing the Friday game. I didn't have it there. So go for that first. Kansas City and the Chargers. Who do you like?
Kansas City is a 3-point favorite, and it's the games in Brazil. I don't know. The Chiefs are going to win that game.
Okay, you're going with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs as well because the Chargers don't belong in Los Angeles. They belong in San Diego, and that's where it should always be. So for that point, they don't win the game. Cincinnati at Cleveland. Ooh, boy, here comes a real big one here. Boy, we can't wait for this one. No, wait a minute. Hang on a second. I'm missing Tampa Bay, Atlanta. We didn't get Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Okay, so go Tampa Bay, Atlanta.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. Okay, Mike's going to go with Tampa Bay. I'm going to go with Atlanta, simply because I got to give I got to remember the varsity a little bit, and my buddy John Fricky is there as well. So I'm going to take Atlanta in this one. Cincinnati and Cleveland.
Bengals. You can ask me every week. I'll say Bengals.
I'm going to have to go with the Bengals too because Cleveland is in an absolute
Skyline
mess.
Chili.
Is in an absolute mess, so I'm going to go with Cincinnati. Minnesota and
Skyline Chili.
Miami and Indianapolis.
Skyline Chili, and my wife was born in Cincinnati. She's from there.
Okay, Miami and
Go ahead.
Indianapolis. Dolphins and the Colts.
I'm going to go with the Dolphins because I have no love for the Colts, and like I said before, Jim Irsay died because the his people around him enabled him to keep taking other drugs, ketamine and other things. So therefore, they killed their owner, and therefore the Colts killed their owner. Therefore, I will root for the Dolphins.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Dolphins as well, simply because I used to cover the Dolphins, and I have to see if my bad luck streak is going to stop sooner or later. Las Vegas, the Raiders, and the Patriots.
I'm going for the Raiders, man. I don't know what it is. I'm feeling the Raiders this year.
I can never
Yeah.
root for the Raiders unless maybe it would be the Raiders and the Jets. But I think at that point I'd have to root for the Jets because I grew up in New York. But I'm going to have to go with the Patriots. I covered the Patriots for several years. I got a lot of friends there. And I think Mike Vrabel is the guy that's going to change things around in New England. Moving on now, more games. Arizona and New Orleans. As going back to what we talked about, I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints. I'm probably going to pick the New Orleans Saints all season long, simply because they have better food than Arizona, without question. There's nothing there.
I don't think the Saints are very good, though. So I'm going to take Kyler Murray and the Cardinals in this one.
Okay, you can take Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Okay, Pittsburgh and the Jets. Here we go. This is this. I'm going to get, because I live in Florida, I'm going to get the Dolphins games, but I would want to watch this game because it's just going to be fun. I'm totally stymied. I can't stand Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not a Jets fan. I don't know where to go. You go first.
Yeah. No, I'm just going to say it's like Putin versus Xi Jinping. It's the worst of two evils. I'm going to go with the Jets because my good friend John Pepper is a Jets fan. He thinks they're going to suck again. I'm going to root for them, and therefore, when I do pick games, they do lose. So, John, yeah, you're going to lose, but I'm going to pick them anyway.
I'm going to pick the Jets as well, simply because I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers succeed. End of story. Done deal. Giants and the Redskins. To you.
Actually, they're the Commanders now. We don't say the R word on this show.
I know. That's what I wanted to see if you'd pick it up. Nice job.
No, let's see. Wait, they play the Giants this weekend?
Giants and the Commanders.
Yeah, they didn't look really good in the preseason. I know the preseason doesn't count, but they did get Terry McLaurin back. Yeah, I like the Commanders.
Okay, you like the Commanders. I'm going to go with the Commanders as well, for no other reason than I can't root for the New York Giants ever, ever, ever. Carolina versus Jacksonville. Another game which really, it's if you're a fan, you care about this. I'm going to go with Jacksonville only because they have a better beach than Carolina.
That's not true. The Outer Banks are awesome. The Outer Banks are awesome. If you want to say Carolina. Carolina's got great uh, beaches. So,
Okay,
who's the quarterback for the Jaguars? The kid from well, he's not a kid anymore, but
the Clemson
uh,
kid.
yeah, Clemson kid. Yeah, who am I thinking of?
I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. Okay.
Trevor Lawrence. So Trevor Lawrence, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the mullet. Maybe it's the fact that I couldn't stand Alabama, and he ran all over Alabama and won the national title for the Tigers. And he's had a couple bad injury breaks, and it looked like he was on his way for a while. So I kind of like Jacksonville.
Okay. Both of us for Jacksonville. All right. Moving on, getting into the 4 o'clock games now. Tennessee at Denver. Tough game for me because I like Cam Ward. I think Tennessee is on the right track. But the Denver Broncos being home, and I got to tell you, I miss the Rocky Mountains every single day. I miss my time skiing at Breckenridge and Vail and all those great places there. I got a lot of great friends out in Denver as well. So because of that, I'm going to pick the Denver Broncos this week.
That's a good reason. From now on, all these picks, I'll just pick the opposite team than you because I have
Oh,
but wait. The Broncos are taking on who again?
Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I like the Titans.
Okay, it's a big rebuild. San Francisco at Seattle. I guess you're going to take San Francisco because you're the California boy.
No, remember I hate Kyle Shanahan, so I'll root for the Seahawks.
Okay. I'm going to pick the Seahawks as well, simply because I love my time in Seattle. Detroit and Green Bay. I'm going to pick Green Bay because they got great food, great cheese, great fans, and there's nothing quite like a game at Lambeau Field.
It's true, but Jared Goff is, he wants to go to the NFC Championship game, if not the Super Bowl this year. I'm rooting for the Lions. I'm all in on the Lions.
All
Really,
in
I
on the
wouldn't even mind
Lions.
if they beat the Eagles this year in the playoffs. So I'm gonna go Lions.
Okay. Houston and the Rams. Another game. What
I
do you
go
think?
Rams. Rams. Stafford. Yeah.
Okay, you're going to go Rams. Yeah, I'm going to go Rams too, just because I love LA and Randy as well. So
I
there you go.
love LA.
I
I love it.
love
I
LA.
love LA.
Little Randy Newman, I'll definitely go with LA there. Baltimore and Buffalo. Ooh, big game. It's a Sunday night game.
Boy, yeah, it's a great game. It's might be a preview of the AFC title game. Lamar Jackson is due. John Harbaugh is not going to be the Baltimore Ravens coach forever, especially if he doesn't deliver soon with that roster. But so are the Buffalo Bills have been due for centuries, and like how can I bet against my favorite quarterback? Okay, the
Yeah.
Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. Those are my two favorite. Like Buffalo.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Buffalo's due. And so we have one more game, and it's the Monday night game. Minnesota at Chicago. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun
Dun,
dun
dun,
dun
dun,
dun
dun.
dun 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 dun.
This is it, man. If we still
Ew.
had the old Monday night football
Dun
theme, this would be the game to play
dun
it in front of.
dun. Ew.
So
So
let's see.
what?
Minnesota
Wait,
and
where?
Chicago. I know the Bears are. I'm rooting for Minnesota. I think. I think Minnesota, for whatever reason, is going to have a great year this year. I don't know why. Just because of the fact they're the Vikings. So I'm picking the Vikings for no reason. None.
Is it
Zero.
is the
Nada.
game is the game in Chicago
In
or
Chicago.
the
In
dome?
Chicago.
Soldier Field, Chicago. The Chicago. Yeah, I'm going for the Bears. When the Bears win and they give their fans hope early in that godforsaken weather city, I kind of like it. And so Minneapolis is the same thing, but I don't know. I'm rooting for the Bears.
Go
Duck
male
Bears.
cheerleaders. Go male cheerleaders.
Oh yeah. I can't imagine like the Saturday Night Live crew, George Wendt and those guys rooting
Oh,
for
man.
the male cheerleader. These guys got male cheerleaders. I gotta go with the Bears. Duck Bears.
Maybe we'll do that one day. We'll just do like an entire show, and we'll be like we're Bears fans, which could
Yeah,
be
Bears fans.
freaking disastrous all the time.
Well, not as disastrous as this show, but you're right. It could be.
Well, but that's okay. We're allowed a disaster because it's the NFL season. So who cares? I'm not doing anything serious this week. All right. Don't forget, YouTube at the Fastest Show in Sports. Get us there for all the shows, all the clips, all the features. And when you want to listen to us, you're on the road, you're out in the middle of nowhere. What do? You bring up the podcast. There you go. And you go ahead and listen to it. We're available wherever you get your podcasts. And by the way, before we do that, Mike, what is on your shirt? You said you wore your shirt for a reason. What is on it?
Well, I felt like in a playful mood. This was
Stand up. Let's see.
This shirt, this shirt was this was my basketball shirt
Okay.
for this 45 and over league. But you got to love the back, Ed. I don't know if you can see it. It says the sloth.
We can barely, Dolphin. Yeah, can't see it up at the top, but it's your number is 44, and you're the sloth, correct?
Yeah, they call me the sloth, and it's because I don't move.
We've seen that before, especially here on the show. Have a great week. Enjoy the National Football League, everybody. For Mike Wise, the sloth, I'm Ed Berliner. Rock on, true believers. Till next time, see ya.
That's all, folks.